I found the boarding passes tucked inside his passport. To tickets to Geneva. Business class. December 20-3rd. We were supposed to spend Christmas with my mother. I sat on our bedroom floor holding the passes in one hand and our marriage certificate in the other, the document I'd been searching for when I found them. The certificate we needed for the mortgage refinance, Marcus said, would save us thousands. His car pulled into the driveway. I heard his keys, his footsteps. You home? I slid the boarding passes back exactly where I'd found them, behind the filing cabinet where our important documents had supposedly been kept for 11 years. Just looking for the certificate. I called down. He appeared in the doorway with that easy smile I used to love. Perfect. I'll take it to the bank tomorrow. I smiled back. What Marcus didn't know, I'd spent 6 years as a stunt coordinator before he convinced me to quit. I knew how to plan sequences where every movement mattered. Where timing was everything. Where one wrong step meant catastrophe. What Marcus didn't know. The woman whose name was on that second boarding pass had been pregnant for 3 months with money from our joint account funding her apartment. What Marcus didn't know, I was about to choreograph the most devastating sequence of my life. And by Christmas Eve, he would lose everything. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I couldn't. I'd trained myself to sleep in moving vehicles. Suspended from cables, anywhere a stunt coordinator needs to rest between takes. I didn't sleep because I needed the kind of clarity that only comes at 3 a.m. when the person lying next to you believes you're unconscious. Marcus slept on his back, one arm above his head, breathing deep and even. Peaceful. The sleep of someone with nothing to hide. I lay on my side facing away from him, eyes open in the darkness, running through what I knew. Geneva. December 20-3rd. To tickets. The mortgage refinance papers were spread across his home office desk downstairs. I'd seen them yesterday morning. Dozens of pages with highlighted signature lines, sticky notes in his handwriting, sign here, initial here, date here. He'd walked me through it over coffee, his hand warm on my shoulder. It's just adjusting the interest rate. The market's shifted. We can save about $400 a month if we act now. But there's a deadline. Paperwork has to be submitted by the 20-6th, right before Christmas. I know, terrible timing, but that's when the rate locks in. I'll handle everything. You just need to sign. I'd nodded. Trusted him. Like I'd trusted him for 11 years. Like I trusted him when he said I should quit coordinating stunts because the hours were too unpredictable, the insurance too expensive, the risk too high now that we were building a real life together. Like I trusted him when he said he'd manage our finances because he understood investment strategies and I should focus on the home. Like I trusted him when he moved our savings into accounts I didn't have direct access to because it was better for tax purposes. At 4:17 a.m, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. He didn't wake. 30 seconds later, it buzzed again. His breathing changed. He rolled over, reaching for the phone in that half minus a sleep fumble. The screen lit his face in blue minus white light. I kept my breathing steady, eyes closed to slits. He read something. Typed a response with his thumb. Set the phone face minus down and settled back into sleep within minutes. I waited until his breathing evened out again. Then I waited another 20 minutes. Then I got up to use the bathroom. Perfectly reasonable at 4:40-5 a.m. I closed the door, ran the water, and stood there looking at my reflection. My face looked the same as yesterday. Same dark hair, same pale skin, same scar through my left eyebrow from a cable snap in 2014. But something behind my eyes had changed. I'd spent 6 years calculating trajectories, planning falls, anticipating failures. Every stunt was a controlled disaster. You had to know exactly where everyone would be at every moment. What would break? What would hold? Who would catch whom? This would be no different. I flushed the toilet, washed my hands, and went back to bed. Morning came with the smell of coffee. Marcus was already up, showered. Dressed in the charcoal suit he wore for important meetings. He kissed my forehead as I sat up. Then I need to swing by the bank to drop off those refinance papers. Should be home by 6. The papers I haven't signed yet? Right? Yes, can you do that today? I'll leave them on the kitchen table. Just the highlighted sections. What's the rush? His smile didn't falter. I told you, babe. The rate lock expires on the 20-6. We submit by then, or we lose the better terms. And if I wanted to read through everything first? Something flickered across his face. Not quite annoyance. More like recalculation. Of course you can read it. But it's 70-3 pages of legal language. I already went through it with our broker. It's standard stuff. Humor me. He checked his watch. Okay. How about this? I'll come home at lunch, we'll go through it together. Then I'll take it to the bank after. Sound good? I nodded. Sounds good. He kissed me again, grabbed his briefcase, and left. I heard his car pull out of the driveway. I counted to 60. Then I went downstairs to his office. The mortgage papers were exactly where he'd left them, stacked neatly on the right side of his desk. Sticky notes marking every place I was supposed to sign. I didn't touch them yet. Instead, I opened his laptop. Password protected. But Marcus was a creature of habit. I'd watched him type his password 1,000 times over the years, never directly, but in my peripheral vision while making coffee, folding laundry, existing in the same space. His fingers always moved in the same pattern. Longer reach, double tap, short reach, longer reach, double tap. I tried Morgan, his mother's maiden name, followed by 1980-3, his birth year, but substituting the numbers with symbols he thought was clever. The RGM Bashasan. The laptop opened. My hands were completely steady. I had maybe 4 hours before he came home for lunch. Maybe less if his meeting ended early. I needed to be surgical about this. First email. I opened his personal account, the one he'd always said was just for subscriptions and spam. His inbox showed 240-7 unread messages, but the folders were what interested me. One labeled property docs. Another labeled investment records. Third labeled travel. I opened travel first. Confirmation emails going back 3 years. Hotels in Chicago, New York, Miami, all cities where he told me he had business conferences. Dates matched up with the trips I remembered. But then Geneva, booked 6 weeks ago. Hotel arrival December 20-2nd. Departure December 20-8th. Suite with 1 king bed. I scrolled down. Found the room service pre-order confirmation. Champagne package. Couples massage at the spa. I opened the email thread. To Marcus Chen. From Natalie Voss. Subject tray can't wait. 6 days together. No interruptions. No checking our phones every 5 minutes. Just us in the mountains, and finally, finally being able to tell people. I know you're nervous about timing, but honestly, the bump is starting to show anyway. Better to announce it during the holidays when everyone's distracted. Your mom's going to be thrilled. She's always wanted grandkids. The timestamp is filed. 3 days ago. I sat back in his office chair. Natalie Voss. The name meant nothing to me. I opened a new browser tab and searched her name plus our city name. Her LinkedIn profile appeared first: senior account manager at Westbridge Financial Solutions, the same investment firm where Marcus worked. Her profile photo showed a woman in her late 20s, blonde, corporate smile. The kind of smile you practice for networking events. I clicked through to her Instagram. Private account. But the profile picture showed her at some beach resort, sundress, champagne glass. I went back to his email and searched her name. 160-3 messages over the past 18 months. I opened the earliest one. Subject: thanks for lunch. Marcus minus really enjoyed our conversation today. It's rare to meet someone who actually understands the difference between growth and value investing. Most people in this office just parrot whatever they read in the WSJ. Coffee again next week? His reply definitely. Tuesday. I scrolled through the progression. Professional at first. Lunch meetings. Coffee. Then dinners after work. Then inside jokes. 6 months ago. I can't stop thinking about what you said last night. About how marriage is just a social construct and what matters is actual connection. I've never felt this understood by anyone. And his reply, I know this is complicated. But you're right. What we have is real. The rest is just paperwork. Like the mortgage refinance documents sitting on his desk. I closed the email and opened the folder labeled Property Docs. Inside, correspondence with a real estate agent. A woman named Jennifer Kim. Subject line Ray. Rental application approved. I opened it. Great news. The landlord accepted your application for the apartment at 420-7 Riverside Drive. Move minus in date December 15th as requested. First month, last month. And security deposit totaling $9,200 was processed from the account you provided. Keys ready for pickup whenever you're ready. Congratulations on the new place. December 15th. 8 days ago. The email was addressed to Marcus, but CC'd to Natalie Voss. I searched the address. A new building downtown, luxury units. 1-bedroom apartment starting at $3,000 a month. I opened his banking app next. Still logged in, because he always stayed logged in on his personal laptop. Our joint checking account showed the usual mortgage payment. Utilities, groceries. My small freelance payments from the occasional safety consulting work I still did. But there was another account, one I'd never seen before. Chinchin minus investment account. Current balance $840-$2. Transaction history showed regular deposits matching his paychecks, then regular transfers out. I scrolled back 3 months. $15,000 transferred out. Another $12,000. Another $9,200, the exact amount for the apartment deposit. I went back further. 6 months. 9 months. Over $80,000, moved in increments, always labeled investment purchase. I sat there, staring at the screen. $80,000. The savings we'd built over 11 years. The money from my stunt work. From his bonuses, from every birthday check and tax refund and sold car. Gone. Not invested. Spent on an apartment for his pregnant girlfriend. I heard a sound and realized it was coming from me. Single sharp breath. The kind you take when you've been underwater too long. I closed the laptop. Stood up. Walked to the kitchen, poured myself coffee, and sat at the table with the mortgage refinance papers. I started reading. By page 12, I understood. The refinance wasn't a refinance. It was a cash minus out loan. We'd bought this house 9 years ago for $370-$5,000. Paid it down to $290,000. The house was now worth $520,000 according to the appraisal attached to the paperwork. This loan would give us $410,000 in cash back, essentially minus borrowing everything we'd paid off. Plus extra. The new monthly payment would be $20-$900. $1,900 more than our current payment. And the cash, the $410,000, was designated to go into an account in Marcus's name only, labeled Investment Portfolio Management. At the bottom of page 60-8. In small print I had to read 3 times to believe. Primary borrower maintains sole discretion over cash disbursement. Co-borrower's signature constitutes acknowledgement on and agreement to revised payment terms and cash allocation as specified in Section C. Section C specified that the co-borrower me had no access to the funds and no say in how they were used. I would sign away our home equity and agree to a payment we couldn't afford on my income alone, and he would walk away with over $400,000. The papers I was supposed to sign by end of day. The papers he was coming home at lunch to help me understand. I looked at the clock, 11:15. He'd be here in 40-5 minutes. I got up, walked upstairs, opened my closet, and pulled out a box I hadn't touched in 6 years. Inside, backup hard drives from my stunt coordinator days, contact lists, insurance documents, contracts, and something else, a burner phone. In my line of work, you always kept one. For emergencies. For when regular phones might not work on location. For when you needed a communication line that couldn't be traced back to production. I powered it on. Still charged, I'd kept it maintained out of habit. Then I took out my real phone and pulled up the contact list from my old work. Most coordinators had moved on. But there were a few names I recognized. People who'd gone into private investigation. People who specialized in digital forensics. People who knew how to find things that were meant to stay hidden. I selected a name, Diana Orez. Sent a text from the burner. It's Sarah Chen. Need your help. Can you call this number? The reply came in 90 seconds, 30 minutes. I went back downstairs, reheated my coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with the unsigned mortgage papers spread in front of me. At 11:50-8, I heard Marcus's car in the driveway. I ranged my face into something calm and curious. The door opened. Hey babe, ready to get through this paperwork? Absolutely, I said. He sat down across from me, pulled the papers toward him, and began explaining, in that patient voice he used when he thought I wouldn't understand exactly how I was supposed to sign away everything we'd built. I nodded. I asked simple questions, and inside my pocket, the burner phone buzzed silently with Diana's incoming call. I let it go to voicemail. Marcus spread the papers across the kitchen table like a dealer arranging cards. So the key thing to understand is that this refinance takes advantage of the equity we've built. The house has appreciated significantly. We'd be foolish not to leverage that. Leverage it for what? He smiled. The patient smile. Investment opportunities. The market's volatile right now, which means smart money can make serious returns. I've been talking to some people at the firm. We have access to funds that aren't available to regular retail investors. What kind of returns? Conservative estimate? 15 to 20% annually. That $400,000 could generate $60,000 to $80,000 in passive income per year. I nodded slowly, like I was processing this. And the higher mortgage payment? Covered by the investment returns. We're talking about maybe 2 years of slightly higher payments before the returns exceed the costs. After that, it's pure profit. Who manages the investment account? I do. Through the firm, it's all above board. Regulated accounts, full transparency. I'll show you quarterly statements. But the money goes into an account in your name only. He hesitated. Just a fraction of a second. That's standard for investment portfolios. Simplifies the tax reporting. But obviously everything we make is ours together. Community property. So I could access it if I needed to? Of course. You just need to request a transfer. Same as any investment account. How long does a transfer take? Another hesitation. Depends on the fund. Some are liquid 3 to 5 business days. Others have longer windows. But babe, this is what I do for a living. You trust me with this, right? I met his eyes. Of course I trust you. Something in his shoulders relaxed. Good. So if you're comfortable, we just need signatures on these pages. He flipped through, pointing out the sticky notes. Can I read through it first? The whole thing? He checked his watch. I really need to get this to the bank by 2. Is the 20-6. So we have days. But the bank needs processing time. If we submit today, we're safe. If we wait, we're cutting it close. I pulled the papers toward me. Started reading page 1. Actually reading, not skimming. Marcus watched me for 30 seconds, then stood up. I'm going to make a sandwich. You want anything? I'm good. I heard him in the kitchen, opening the refrigerator, pulling out lunch meat and cheese. His phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. He didn't answer it. I turned to page 4, reading about title insurance and escrow procedures. Let the silence stretch. He sat back down with his sandwich. You know, if you want, we could have our own lawyer review this. But that'll take weeks. And cost about $2,000. For them to tell us what I'm telling you now, that it's standard. Maybe that's worth it. $2,000 to be sure, about $400,000. His jaw tightened. Barely. Sarah. Come on. You think I would put us at risk? After everything we've built together? I looked up at him. No, of course not. Then what's with the third degree? I'm not giving you a third degree. I'm reading a contract before I sign it. That's just basic common sense. Common sense is trusting your husband who works in finance to handle financial matters. Common sense is not letting paranoia cost us tens of thousands in lost returns. Paranoia? Bad word. Sorry. We're a team. We've always been a team. This is me trying to build our future, and you're acting like I'm trying to scam you. I closed the papers. Looked at him directly. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just not used to numbers this big. It makes me nervous. His expression softened immediately. I get it. This is scary. It's a lot of money. But that's exactly why we need to move on opportunities like this. Regular people stay regular because they're too scared to take calculated risks. And you're sure this is calculated, babe? I run investment portfolios worth millions. This is literally what I'm trained to do. I nodded. Picked up the pen. Okay. Show me where to sign. Relief washed over his face. Really? You're right. He flipped through the pages, pointing out each signature line. I signed. Dated. Page after page. When I got to the final page, I paused. This section shards in, see, the part about sole discretion over cash disbursement. What exactly does that mean? Just that I manage the investment decisions. You're still a co-minus owner of everything. It's just an administrative thing. So if something happened to you, I'd have access? Of course. You're my wife. Everything goes to you automatically. And if we got divorced? He laughed. Why would we get divorced? I'm not saying we would. I'm just asking hypothetically. These are legal documents. I want to understand the worst minus case scenario. His smile faded slightly. Community property state. Everything's split 50-50 in a divorce. Unless there's a prenup, which we don't have. So even though the account's in your name only, I'd get half. Technically, yes. But again, why are we talking about divorce? We're not. I'm just understanding the contract. I signed the final page. Pushed the papers toward him. There? He gathered them immediately, tapping them against the table to straighten the stack. Thank you. I know this was uncomfortable. But I promise you, 2 years from now, you're going to be so glad we did this. I hope so. He kissed the top of my head. I need to run these to the bank. I'll be back by 6. We can go out for dinner, celebrate making a smart decision. Sounds good. I walked him to the door. Watched him load his briefcase. Waved as he backed out of the driveway. Then I went upstairs. Locked the bedroom door and called Diane at Orez. She answered on the first ring. Sarah Chen. Haven't heard that name in 5 years? 6? You still doing stunt work? No. Different kind of stunt now. The text said discreet. How discreet? Completely. And fast. I need a full financial forensics workup, surveillance. And phone records. I have maybe 10 days. That's not a lot of time. What's the situation? Husband's having an affair. She's pregnant. He's been moving money for over a year, somewhere around $80,000 so far. He just had me sign mortgage papers that'll give him access to another $400,000. I need to know where it's all going, what he's planning, and I need evidence that'll hold up. Jesus. Okay. I can do financial forensics. For surveillance and phone record, I'll need to bring in help. People like Rust. That okay? As long as they're professional. They are, but this won't be cheap. Full workup like this, rushed timeline. Multiple specialists. We're talking 20-5,000 minimum. I didn't hesitate. I have 30,000 in an account he doesn't know about. Freelance safety consulting over the years. Cash payments. Never deposited to our joint account. Smart. Okay? I'll need details. His full name, employer, phone number, vehicle info. Known associates. Everything you've got. Can you send it encrypted? Give me an hour. And Sarah? If he's moving this kind of money, he's either hiding it or spending it. He's probably got help. Lawyer, accountant, someone. We need to find that person too. Understood. One more thing. If this goes where I think it's going, divorce, criminal charges, whatever you need to document everything. Every conversation, every transaction, every lie. Start a journal. Write down what he said, when he said it, who was there. Contemporaneous records are gold in court. I'm already doing that. Of course you are. You always were the detail person. She paused. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Don't be. Just help me make sure he regrets it. That I can do. I'll have preliminary findings within 40-8 hours. Full workup by the 20-3rd. That gives you 2 days before Christmas. That's when he leaves for Geneva. With her? With her. Then we'd better make sure he doesn't make that flight. We hung up. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. 40-8 hours for preliminary findings. That meant I had 2 days to keep acting normal. 2 days of making dinner and watching television and sleeping next to someone who was planning to abandon me with a mortgage I couldn't afford and a home equity loan I'd never see. 2 days of being the woman he thought I was. I could do that. I'd held position on a crane arm in 40-mile/per-r winds for 6 hours during a shoot in Montana. I'd stayed conscious after a cable snap that fractured 3 ribs. I'd coordinated a 100-person stunt sequence with 17 moving parts and zero room for error. I could pretend to be oblivious for 40-8 hours. My phone buzzed. Text from Marcus just submitted everything. Bank says approval should come through by the RD. I typed back love you too. Then I opened my laptop and started building a spreadsheet. Column A. Date. Column B. Event. Evidence. Column D. Witnesses. Corroboration needed. I started filling it in, working backward from today. December Shabbat found boarding passes to Geneva. Discovered a mail correspondence with Natalie Voss. Pregnancy revealed. Apartment lease discovered. Signed fraudulent mortgage refinance. Evidence boarding passes photographed. Email screenshots saved to encrypted drive. Bank records downloaded. Mortgage documents copies made before signing. Witnesses none directly, but Diana Ores can testify to forensic findings. Corroboration needed confirmation of Natalie's pregnancy, proof that apartment is furnished occupied. Verification that investment account is fictitious. I kept going, scrolling back through my phone, my calendar, my memory. Every business trip he'd taken. Every late night at the office. Every weekend conference in cities that happened to have luxury hotels. My phone buzzed again. Diana got your info. Starting the workup now. Quick question, does he have a home office? Computer I can access remotely? I glanced toward the closed office door downstairs. His laptop was still there. Still logged in, probably. Yes. I can give you access tonight when he's asleep. Perfect. I'll send you a program to install. Takes 30 seconds. Gives me full mirror access without him knowing. Every email, every file, every keystroke. How legal is that? In your house, on a computer used for marital finances? Gray area? Might not be admissible in court, but it'll tell us what we need to know. And it'll point us toward what is admissible. Send it. 20 minutes later, she sent a link. I downloaded the program to a thumb drive. Then I went downstairs and made dinner. Marcus came home at 6:40-5, carrying flowers. "For being patient with me today," he said, handing me a bouquet of roses. "I know the paperwork stuff stresses you out. They're beautiful." We ate pasta. We talked about his day. The investment group meeting had gone well, apparently. New clients coming on board. Big year ahead. "Which reminds me," he said, twirling linguine around his fork, "I might need to travel more next year. The firm's expanding into the Pacific Northwest. Portland. I probably need to be up there 1 week a month. That's a lot of time away. I know. But it's a huge opportunity. These clients are high net worth. We're talking portfolios in the 8 and 9 figures. If I can land them, I'm looking at a promotion. Maybe partner track. When would this start? February. Probably. After things settled down from the holidays. After he'd cleaned out our home equity and disappeared with Natalie." "Sounds exciting," I said. "It is. And the money would be incredible. We could finally take that trip to Japan you've been wanting. Maybe upgrade your car." "My car's fine. It's 15 years old, babe. You deserve something nicer." The car he'd convinced me I didn't need to replace because it still runs fine and we should save money. The car I drove while he leased a BMW. "Maybe," I said. We finished dinner. Watched a movie. He fell asleep on the couch halfway through, his head tilted back, mouth slightly open. I watched him sleep for a while. This man I'd loved for 11 years. This man I'd quit my career for. This man who'd convinced me that partnership meant trust, and trust meant letting him handle the complicated things. This man who was about to steal $400,000 and disappear with a woman carrying his child. At 11:30, I woke him gently. "Come on. Let's go to bed." He followed me upstairs, half-minus asleep. Brushed his teeth, collapsed into bed. I waited until his breathing deepened. Then I went back downstairs with the thumb drive. His laptop was right where he'd left it. Still logged in. I inserted the drive. Clicked the program. Watched the progress bar fill. Installation complete. Access granted. Mirror mode active. I removed the drive. Closed the laptop. Went back upstairs and got into bed next to my husband. My phone buzzed silently under my pillow. Text from Diana: "I'm in. Holy shit, Sarah. This is worse than you thought." My hand tightened around the phone. "How much worse?" "He's not planning to disappear. He's planning to have you declared mentally incompetent." I sat up in the darkness, reading the words again. "What?" "There are emails with a lawyer. He's building a case that you've been experiencing psychiatric issues. Depression, paranoia, erratic behavior. He's setting up a conservatorship petition. If it goes through, he gets control of all marital assets, all decision-making authority. You'd be locked out of everything." "When?" "He's planning to file January 2nd. Right after he gets back from Geneva. Right after the mortgage money clears." I looked at Marcus sleeping beside me. Not just stealing from me, erasing me. How do I stop it? You don't stop it. You let him think it's working. And then you destroy him with his own plan. I set the phone down, lay back in the darkness, and started planning a sequence that would end with Marcus Chen losing absolutely everything. I didn't go back to sleep. At 6 a.m, I got up, made coffee, and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop while Marcus showered upstairs. Diana had sent an encrypted file overnight, 40-7 pages of preliminary findings. I opened it. Subject: Marcus Chen - initial financial forensics report. The first section detailed the money trail, $80-3,000 withdrawn over 18 months. But not all spent on the apartment. That was separate money drawn from a personal line of credit he'd opened using our house as collateral. A line of credit I'd never known about. The $80-3,000 had gone somewhere else entirely. Recipient: Jennifer Voss. not the real estate agent. Natalie's mother. According to Diana's research, Jennifer Voss lived in Scottsdale, Arizona. She'd been diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer 14 months ago. Treatment costs not covered by insurance approximately $8,000. Marcus had been paying for his girlfriend's mother's cancer treatment. I sat back, staring at that number. $8,000. Our money. My money. I'd earned doing stunts that could have killed me. Money we'd save for a future that was supposed to be ours. Spent on someone I'd never met. For someone I didn't know existed. I kept reading. Section to conservatorship plan. Diana had pulled the email chain between Marcus and a lawyer named Richard Hoffman. Hoffman specialized in elder law and complex competency cases. The emails went back 3 months. September Marcus to Hoffman. Need to discuss options for managing my wife's deteriorating mental state. She's become increasingly paranoid, making irrational financial decisions, accusing me of things that aren't happening. I'm worried about her spending on decision-making. What are my options for protecting our assets? Hoffman's reply. In cases of suspected incompetence, California law allows for a limited conservatorship if you can demonstrate that the individual lacks capacity to manage financial affairs. This requires medical documentation, witness testimony, and evidence of irrational behavior. The bar is high, but achievable. My fee for this type of case starts at $15,000. There were dozens more, each one carefully building a narrative. Sarah is paranoid. Sarah is irrational. Sarah is unstable. Sarah cannot be trusted with money. Sarah needs to be protected from herself. And then dated November Shabbat Hoffman to Marcus. I've consulted with Drive. Raymond Kepler, a psychiatrist who specializes in competency evaluations. He's willing to conduct an assessment. The key will be timing. We need the evaluation to happen when she's at her most stressed. Holiday season is often ideal for this. People tend to be more emotionally volatile. If we can schedule the evaluation for late December, early January, we can file the petition immediately after. Marcus's reply. Perfect. Let's plan for January's TH evaluation, filing on the WTH. I'll make sure she's particularly stressed by then. I read that line 3 times. He was going to manufacture my breakdown. I closed the laptop as I heard Marcus coming down the stairs. Morning, he said, kissing my cheek. Couldn't sleep. Everything okay? Just thinking about Christmas. My mom called yesterday. She wants to know what time we're coming over. His expression flickered. About that. I meant to talk to you. Something came up at work. There's a client emergency in New York. I might need to fly out on the 20-3rd. On Christmas Eve? I know, terrible timing. But it's a huge client 8-figure portfolio. If I don't go, we could lose them. How long would you be gone? Just a few days. Maybe through the 20-6th. I'd be back for the weekend. The lie came so smoothly, like he'd practiced it. That's really disappointing. My mom's going to be upset. I know. I'm upset too. But this is my job. You understand that, right? Of course. Maybe you could still go. Spend Christmas with your mom. I'll join you as soon as I get back. Maybe. He poured coffee, scrolled through his phone. I've got back meetings today. Probably won't be home until 8 or 9. Okay. He grabbed his briefcase and left. I waited until his car disappeared down the street. Then I called Diana. Did you read the report? Diana asked. All of it. The conservatorship plan. Can he actually do that? With the right documentation and a cooperative psychiatrist? Yes. But it's possible. Especially if he can demonstrate a pattern of behavior. And especially if you don't have a lawyer. So what do I do? 2 options. Option 1, you file for divorce immediately. Preempt his whole plan. Get a restraining order, freeze the assets, expose everything. What's option 2? You let him think it's working. You play the role he's written for you. And you gather so much evidence that when this goes to court, he doesn't just lose, he gets destroyed. How destroyed? Criminal charges for fraud, disbarment from the investment firm, loss of custody of the kid he's about to have. Natalie finds out he's been lying to her too. His reputation, career, and future all gone. That kind of destroyed. What would I need to do? First, you need your own lawyer. Not for filing it, just for protection. Someone who can hold evidence in escrow, document everything, and be ready to move fast when the time comes. I know someone. Susan Parrish. She's aggressive, she's smart, and she eats men like Marcus for breakfast. Okay. Second, you need to start acting the part. Not crazy, that's too obvious. But stressed, forgetful, emotional. Little things that could be explained away as holiday anxiety or money worries. Things that would fit his narrative. Make him think his plan is working. You want me to gaslight myself. I want you to perform. You used to coordinate stunts, right? You know how to hit marks, follow choreography. Make something look real when it's completely controlled. This is the same thing. She was right. You fell, but you knew exactly where you'd land. You got hit, but you knew the punch would miss by 3 inches. You screamed in terror, but you were never actually in danger. You controlled the chaos. What else? You need to document his lies. Every single one. Record conversations if California's a 1- party state, which it is. Keep a journal with dates, times, exact quotes. Get witnesses when possible. And most importantly, you need to find out what he's told Natalie. Because I guarantee his story to her is different from his story to you. How do I do that? You meet her. Absolutely not. Sarah, listen to me. Right now, she thinks she's the winner. She thinks she's getting the man, the baby, the life. She doesn't know she's being used just as much as you are. If you approach this right, she becomes your witness. Maybe even your ally. She's sleeping with my husband. And he's lying to both of you. Think about it. Has he told her about the conservatorship plan? Has he told her that the money he's spending on her is stolen? Has he told her that the Geneva apartment is being paid for with a fraudulent mortgage? She probably thinks he's rich, generous, leaving a bad marriage for true love. I closed my eyes, thinking, if I contact her, he'll find out. Not if you're smart about it. You don't call or text from your regular phone. You approach her somewhere public, somewhere he won't be. You have one conversation. You ask questions, you gauge what she knows, and you decide if she's useful. And if she tells Marcus, then you deny everything. Say she's lying. Say she's trying to break you up. Play the paranoid wife he's already telling everyone you are. Either way, you gain information. My burner phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. This is Susan Parrish. Diana Ores gave me your situation. I can meet you today. Meow, so meow. I texted back. I'll be there. To Diana, I said. Where does Natalie work? Westbridge Financial. Same building as Marcus, different floor. Why? Because I need to see what I'm dealing with. Sarah, I'm not going to confront her. I'm just going to observe. Okay. But be careful. If Marcus sees you, he won't. I know how to move without being seen. Westbridge Financial occupied floors 12 through 16 of a glass tower downtown. I arrived at 11:30, carrying coffee and wearing clothes I'd pulled from the back of my closet. Business casual, boring, forgettable. My hair was in a ponytail. No makeup except foundation. I looked like every other professional woman on her lunch break. Meow meow. At 11:40-7, Marcus stepped out of elevator 3, talking on his phone. He walked right past me, 20 feet away. Didn't even glance in my direction. I waited. At 12:15, a blonde woman in navy dress emerged from elevator 2. Even from across the lobby, I could see the small bump under the empire waist. The careful way she carried herself. Natalie Voss. She was prettier than her Instagram photos. Younger. She moved with the confidence of someone who thought she was winning. I watched her walk to the coffee counter, order something complicated, laugh at something the barista said. Watched her check her phone, smile at a message, type a response with her thumbs. Watched her rest her hand on her stomach, unconscious and protective. She was 4 months along, maybe 5. Showing just enough that loose clothes could hide it, but not for much longer. She collected her coffee and headed back toward the elevators. I stood up, timing it so I'd reach the elevator bank at the same moment she did. We stood side by side, waiting. She smelled like vanilla and something floral. "Excuse me," I said quietly. "Natalie?" She turned, surprised. "I'm Sarah Chen, Marcus's wife." The color drained from her face. "I'm not here to make a scene. I just want to talk." 5 minutes. "I can't. He's planning to leave both of us." That stopped her. The Geneva apartment. The Swiss bank account. The $400,000 he's about to steal. He's not building a life with you, Natalie. He's running. And he's using both of us to do it. The elevator arrived. The doors opened. She didn't get in. She stared at me, her hand still resting on her stomach. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. Or at least part of you suspects something's wrong. Otherwise you wouldn't still be standing here. Marcus said you'd do this. He said you'd try to manipulate me. He said you were having some kind of breakdown. Did he tell you about the conservatorship petition he's filing in January? The one where he has me declared mentally incompetent so he can control all our assets?" She blinked. "That's insane. It's documented. A mails with his lawyer. A psychiatrist already lined up." "Natalie. And when it does, when he has access to everything, do you really think he's going to take you to Geneva? Or is he going to take the money and disappear?" "You're lying." "Am I? Then why hasn't he introduced you to his family? Why hasn't he told anyone at work about the baby? Why does he keep saying wait until after the holidays, every time you want to go public?" Her jaw tightened. "Because his marriage needs to be completely over first. He's trying to protect me from what? His wife? I already know about you. Natalie, I've known for days. And I haven't done anything. Haven't called you. Haven't shown up at your apartment. Haven't made your life difficult. Why do you think that is?" "I don't know. Because I'm not the problem. He is." Another elevator arrived. This time she got in, but held the door. "I need to go. One question. Did he tell you where the money for your mother's treatment came from?" She froze. $70,000. Scottsdale Cancer Center. Your mother's bills. He paid them, didn't he? Told you he had savings. Investments that he wanted to help? How do you? It's my money. Natalie, from our joint accounts. From years of work I did before I even knew you existed. He stole it. And he's going to keep stealing until there's nothing left." The elevators started beeping. The doors tried to close. She held them open. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because in 10 days, he's going to be gone. And you and I are both going to be left holding the consequences. The question is whether you want to know the truth now, or find out the hard way later." "I don't believe you." "Then ask him about Geneva. About the Swiss account. About Richard Hoffman and the conservatorship petition. Watch his face when you do. See if he tells you the truth." The doors closed. I stood there in the lobby, watching the floor numbers climb. My phone buzzed. "Text from Diana, how'd it go?" She didn't believe me. But she will. How do you know? Because I just gave her the one thing she can't ignore out. By tonight, she'll be checking his story. And when the pieces don't line up, she'll start asking questions. And when she asks questions, he'll either tell her the truth or lie. Either way. 苗苗苗姐苗米苗简好苗苗苗苗苗苗苗 Sarah Chen, I said, sliding into the booth across from her. Susan Parrish. Diana speaks highly of you. Says you're methodical. I try to be. Good. Because this case is going to require surgical precision. Diana sent me the preliminary findings. Your husband is planning something ambitious and stupid. My favorite kind of opponent. Can he actually get me declared incompetent? With the right circumstances? Maybe. But it's a hard case to make against someone who's functional, employed, coherent. He'd need extensive documentation, multiple witness testimonies, evidence of dangerous behavior. What he has is hearsay and a cooperative psychiatrist. So unsafe? From the conservatorship? Probably. But that doesn't solve your real problem, which is? The $400,000 is about to vanish into a Swiss account. Once it's there, getting it back becomes a nightmare of international law. So we have two options. Option 1, we freeze everything now. I file for divorce, get a temporary restraining order on all accounts, and we stop him before the money transfers. What's option 2? She smiled. It was not a warm smile. We let the transfer happen. Let him think he's gotten away with it. And then we use the transfer itself as evidence of fraud. Stealing marital assets, hiding money overseas, falsifying loan documents. Those are crimes, Sarah. Federal crimes. He wouldn't just lose the money. He'd lose his career, his professional license, potentially his freedom. How long would that take? Months? Maybe a year. And there's no guarantee we'd recover everything. But he'd face criminal charges? Almost certainly. The DA loves financial fraud cases, especially when they're this blatant. Add in the conservatorship attempt, the forged documents, the hidden accounts. We'd be handing them a gift minus wrapped case. I thought about Marcus sleeping peacefully last night. About him kissing my forehead this morning. About him carefully, methodically planning to erase me from my own life. I want option 2, I said. Susan nodded slowly. Understand what you're choosing. This isn't just about money. This is about destroying him. Completely. No half measures, no settlements, no negotiated peace. Once we start this, we don't stop until he's lost everything. His job, his reputation, his freedom. Are you prepared for that? I thought about the $80,000 spent on Natalie's mother. About the conservatorship petition waiting to be filed. About the Swiss accountant, the Geneva apartment, and the careful, patient theft of my entire future. Yes, I said. I'm prepared. Then here's what we do. You keep playing the role. Keep signing what he asks you to sign. Keep acting stressed but compliant. Meanwhile, I'll be documenting everything in escrow. Building an airtight case. When the money transfers on the 20-6th, we wait exactly 20- hours. Then we move. File for divorce, freeze all remaining assets, notify the DA's office, and hit him with everything at once. By the time he realizes what's happening, it'll be too late to fix. What about Natalie? What about her? She's pregnant. She's going to be collateral damage. Susan's expression didn't change. She made the choice to sleep with a married man. Whatever happens to her is her own fault. She doesn't know the whole truth. That's not your problem, but it could be useful. If she testifies against him, she won't. She's carrying his child. She'll protect him. Not if she knows he was planning to abandon her too. Susan studied me for a long moment. You already talked to her, didn't you? This morning. And? I planted doubt. By tonight, she'll be asking him questions. By tomorrow, she'll know I was telling the truth. And you think that makes her an ally? I think it makes her someone with nothing left to lose. Same as me. Susan's smile returned. Diana was right about you. You're not just methodical. You're ruthless. I'm practical. Natalie has information I need. She's been with him for 18 months. She knows things I don't months. Trips he's taken, people he's met, lies he's told. If I can flip her, I get a witness who can corroborate everything. Or she goes straight to Marcus and tells him you contacted her. She might. But if she does, it doesn't hurt me. It makes me look paranoid. Which is exactly what he's trying to prove anyway. I can use it. Susan sat back, reassessing. You've thought this through. I have. Okay. Then here's your assignment. Keep detailed records. Every transaction, every lie. I need dates, times. Witnesses. Get me bank statements, by mail printouts, phone records. Anything you can access without breaking the law. And stay calm. No matter what he does, no matter what you find out. You stay calm? Can you do that? I thought about 6 years of stunt coordination. Of standing on a mark while cars flip 20 feet away. Of timing explosions to the millisecond. Of staying absolutely still while chaos erupted around me. Yes, I said. I can do that. Good. She slid a business card across the table. My office number, my cell, my emergency line. You call me the second something changes. Day or night. Understood. Understood. We shook hands. She left first. I sat there for another 20 minutes, drinking cold coffee, watching people pass by the window. Normal people. People with normal problems. People whose husbands weren't trying to have them declared insane. My burner phone buzzed. A no number. I answered. It's Natalie. Her voice was tight. Controlled. We met at a park 30 minutes outside the city. Neutral ground. Far from anywhere Marcus might be. Natalie was already there when I arrived, sitting on a bench near the playground, watching children on swings. Her hand rested on her stomach again. That unconscious protective gesture. I sat down beside her, leaving space between us. I asked him about Geneva. She said without looking at me. And he said it was a business trip. A conference. That you knew about it. Did you ask why he booked the tickets? He said he didn't. Said I must have misunderstood something I saw. She turned to face me. Her eyes were red. But I didn't misunderstand. Because I found the apartment lease. In his email. 1-year rental. Starting January 1st. And when I asked him about that, he said it was an investment property. That the firm was helping him diversify. Did you believe him? I wanted to. Her voice cracks lightly. I wanted to believe every word. Because the alternative is that I'm the stupidest woman alive. You're not stupid. You're pregnant and in love. He used that. I asked about the Swiss bank account. I went very still. What did he say? He denied it at first. International investment strategies. He got angry that I was questioning him. Said I was acting paranoid. Just like, she stopped. Just like his crazy wife? She nodded, not meeting my eyes. Let me guess. He said I've been having episodes. Getting confused. Making accusations. That he's been trying to protect me but it's getting worse. Yes. Did he mention the conservatorship? No. What is that? I told her. All of it. The planned psychiatric evaluation. The petition to have me declared incompetent. The timeline January 4th evaluation. Filing on the 5th, court date sometime in February. She listened without interrupting, her face getting paler with each detail. When I finished, she said quietly, he told me you'd try to manipulate me. That you'd make up elaborate stories. That you'd do anything to keep him from leaving. I'm sure he did. But you have proof. I have emails. Bank records. Legal documents. Yes. Show me. I pulled out my phone, the burner, not my regular one, and opened the encrypted files Diana had sent. Showed her the email chain with Hoffman. The mortgage refinance documents. The wire transfer scheduled for December 20-6 to a Swiss account number. She read it all, her jaw getting tighter and tighter. He paid for my mother's treatment, she said finally. $70-8,000. He said it was from his savings, from bonuses and investments. He said he wanted to help because he loved me. It was from our joint account. Money I earned. Money we saved together. I didn't know. I believe you. She looked at me sharply. Why? Why would you believe me? I've been sleeping with your husband for 18 months. I'm carrying his baby. Why would you believe anything I say? Because you're here. Because you asked the questions instead of just accepting his answers. Because you're smart enough to recognize when something doesn't add up. I'm not that smart. I fell for all of it. So did I. For 11 years. She looked back at the playground. What do you want from me? Information. He's been lying to both of us, but the lies are different. I need to know what he's told you. About his plans, his finances, his timeline. Everything. Why should I help you? Because he's going to leave you too, Natalie. That apartment in Geneva? It's for him. The Swiss account? He's the only one with access. The day after Christmas, he's going to take $400,000 and disappear. And you're going to be left here pregnant, with a mother who still needs treatment and a boyfriend who never existed in the first place. You don't know that. Yes, I do, because I've seen this pattern before. Not with him, but with stunt sequences that go wrong. There's always a point where you realize someone cut corners. Someone didn't secure the cable properly. Someone assumed something would hold when it wouldn't. And by the time you see it, you're already falling. She pressed her hands to her face. I'm so stupid. You're not. You're trusting. There's a difference. What happens to my baby? That depends on what you do next. She lowered her hands. What are my options? Option 1, you tell him about this conversation. He convinces you I'm lying. You stay with him. He leaves anyway. You raise the baby alone while he's living in Switzerland with money he stole from both of us. What's option 2? You help me prove what he's done. You testify. You provide evidence. And when this goes to court, and it will go to court, you make sure he faces consequences. Real ones, criminal charges, loss of everything he values. And what do I get? Your mother's treatment costs reimbursed. Child support enforced through the courts. Not an accomplice. And maybe, if we're lucky, some of that $400,000 recovered so your child has a future that isn't funded by fraud. She stared at the playground, watching a little girl being pushed on a swing by her father. He told me he was going to divorce you after the holidays. That he wanted to wait until after Christmas because it would be easier on everyone. That his family was traditional and he needed to handle it carefully. Did he introduce you to his family? No, he said it was too soon. That it would complicate things. Has he introduced you to anyone from work? We work at the same firm. But has he publicly acknowledged the relationship? Told his boss? No, because you're not his girlfriend. You're his exit strategy. He needed someone to run to when he left me. Someone who'd believe his story. Someone who'd make him look like a man leaving a bad marriage for love instead of a man committing fraud. I love him. I know you do. That's what makes this so awful. She started crying then. Not dramatic sobs, just quiet tears running down her face while she stared at nothing. I didn't comfort her, didn't reach out, just sat there and let her process. What do you need from me? She asked. Everything he's told you. Dates, places, promises. I need to know about the trips he took, the money he spent, the things he said about his marriage, about me, about the future. I need access to anything he's given you, gifts, receipts, messages. Anything that proves he was planning this. He'll know. If I start acting differently, asking questions, so don't act differently. Keep being exactly who you've been. Love him, trust him, make plans with him. But document everything. Screenshots of messages before you delete them. Photos of receipts. Recordings of conversations if you can do it naturally. That's illegal. California is a 1-party consent state. If you're part of the conversation, you can record it legally. But even if you can't record, you can remember. Write it down. Dates and times and exact quotes. Contemporaneous records carry weight in court. You've thought about this a lot. I've had 3 days to think about nothing else. She wiped her face with her sleeve. There's something you should know. What? The baby. It's not. The timeline isn't what he thinks. I turned to look at her fully. What do you mean? He thinks I got pregnant in August. That I'm about 4 months along. But I'm almost 6 months. I got pregnant in July, before we were even officially together. I was going to tell him. But then he said he loved me and wanted a future, and I let him believe the timing worked better than it did. Why are you telling me this? Because if this goes to court, a paternity test is going to show conception date. And that's going to raise questions about whether I trapped him, whether I lied. And I did lie, but not about the important things, just about when I processed this. Does he know you lied about the timing? No. I scheduled the first ultrasound and told him they got the dates wrong. That it happens sometimes. He believed me because why wouldn't he? He had no reason not to. But if he finds out, he'll use it against me. Say I manipulated him. That nothing I say can be trusted. She looked at me. I'm telling you because I don't want you to find out later and think I've been lying about everything. I lied about the conception date. That's it. Everything else I've told you is true. I studied her face. Saw genuine fear there. Genuine regret. We work with what we have. The conception date doesn't change what he's doing. It just means we need to be careful about how we present your testimony. You believe me. I believe you're scared. I believe you're realizing you've been used. Whether I believe everything else, we'll see. But right now, we have a common enemy. That's enough. She nodded slowly. What happens next? You go home. You act normal. When he comes over tonight, you're loving and supportive and everything he expects. You don't mention Geneva or Swiss accounts or any of this. You're just happy to see him. And then, tomorrow is December 20th. You have 3 days until he leaves for Geneva, or what he's told you is a New York business trip. Use that time. Get him to talk about the future, about plans after the baby comes, about money and housing and all the practical things couples discuss. Record those conversations if you can, and watch what he does, where he goes. You want me to spy on him. I want you to document the truth. There's a difference. She stood up, steadying herself against the back of the bench. I need to think about this. Think fast. Time is not on our side. If I do this, if I help you, I need a guarantee. Of what? That I don't go to jail. That my name doesn't get dragged through the mud. That my baby doesn't grow up knowing their mother helped destroy their father. I can't guarantee any of that. But I can guarantee that if you don't help, Marcus walks away clean and you're left with nothing. No support, no future, no options. You have a chance. She looked at me for a long moment. I'll call you tomorrow. Use a burner phone. Don't use any device he could track. I'm not an idiot. I know. But he's smarter than both of us thought. And he's been planning this for a long time. She walked away without another word. I sat on the bench for another 20 minutes, making sure she was really gone. Making sure no one had followed either of us. Then I drove home. Marcus was already there when I arrived, cooking dinner. Pasta again. He'd open wine. Hey babe. Where have you been? Just driving. Needed to clear my head. Everything okay? Just stressed about Christmas. You know how I get. He came over, kissed my forehead. I know. But everything's going to be fine. The mortgage will clear, we'll have financial breathing room, and next year is going to be amazing. I promise. Your New York trip. When do you leave again? 20-3rd. Early morning flight. I'll be back by the 20-7th at the latest. The 20-7th. One day after the money was supposed to transfer to Switzerland. I was thinking, I said carefully. Maybe I should come with you. Make a trip out of it. We could see a show. Do some Christmas shopping in the city. His smile didn't waver, but something shifted behind his eyes. I'd love that, but this is a working trip. Back client meetings. I barely see you. You'd be bored. I don't mind. I could explore while you're in meetings. Sarah, come on. You hate New York in winter. You said so yourself after our last trip. When was our last trip? 2 years ago. You complained about the cold the entire time. I had said that. He was using my own words against me. You're right. I'm just being clingy. Sorry. Don't apologize. It's sweet. He poured me a glass of wine. Hey, I meant to ask. Did you talk to your mom about Christmas? Are you still going? I think so. She'll be disappointed you're not there. I know. I'll make it up to her. Maybe we'll have her over for New Year's. Cook something nice. We sat down to dinner. Made small talk. He told me about his day client meetings. Investment strategies, office politics. Normal conversation. The kind we'd had 1,000 times. Except now I knew that every word was calculated. Every smile rehearsed. Every touch designed to keep me compliant and unsuspecting. I played my part. Asked questions. Laughed at his jokes. Complimented the pasta. After dinner, we watched television. He fell asleep on the couch, his head tilted back, breathing deep. I went upstairs and called Diana. Natalie's on board, I said quietly. I gave her until tomorrow to decide. But I think she'll help. What did you offer her? The truth. And a way out. That's risky. She could go straight to Marcus. She could. But she won't. She's starting to see the cracks. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. What about Marcus? He's being extra attentive, extra loving, which means he's either feeling guilty or making sure I'm emotionally dependent before he leaves. Probably both. Listen, I got the full financial workup finished. You need to see this. What did you find? The Swiss account isn't the only one. He has 3 others. Cayman Islands, Singapore, Luxembourg. Total balance across all 4 accounts. $670 minus $3,000. I sat down on the edge of the bathtub. Where did it come from? Your joint accounts. Mostly. But also cash advances on credit cards you don't know about. A loan against his sitting Yalke. He even took out a personal loan using your car as collateral. My car? Apparently he forged your signature on the title transfer. You technically don't own your car anymore. The bank does. I felt something cold settle in my chest. What else? He's been selling things? That antique desk your grandmother left you? Sold 3 months ago for $8,000. The gold jewelry you inherited from your aunt? Sold. Even your mother's engagement ring that you thought was in the safe deposit box. Sold 2 months ago for $6,000. He stole my mother's ring. He stole everything he could liquidate. And he's been doing it systematically for over 2 years. Long before Natalie. This wasn't about her. She's just the excuse. What was it about then? Best guess. He got in over his head with something. Bad investments, gambling debts. Something. Started stealing to cover it. Then realized he'd stolen too much to ever explain. So he decided to run. The conservatorship was plan A, control everything, gaslight you into thinking you were crazy, manage the money for your own good while he slowly drained it. Geneva is plan B if plan A doesn't work. He just disappears. And Natalie? Plan C. I back up. Someone who'll believe his story if everything else fails. Someone whose pregnancy gives him leverage and sympathy. I closed my eyes. When does the mortgage money transfer? December 20-6th. 3 p.m. Directly to the Swiss account. Can we stop it? Not without alerting him that we know. The transfer is automatic. It's been programmed since he submitted the paperwork. So we let it happen. We let it happen. And then we hit him with everything. Susan's ready. The DA's office has been briefed unofficially. They're interested. Very interested. This is the kind of case that makes careers. What do I do until then? Stay calm. Keep documenting. And whatever you do, don't let him know you're suspicious. Understood. I hung up and sat there in the bathroom, staring at myself in the mirror. $670-$3,000. My grandmother's desk. My mother's ring. I heard Marcus moving around downstairs. Heard him turn off the television, lock the front door, head toward the stairs. I flushed the toilet, washed my hands, and opened the bathroom door. He was standing in the bedroom, pulling off his shirt. You okay? You were in there a while. Just feeling a little off. Stress, probably. He came over, put his hands on my shoulders. You need to relax. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. I know. Come to bed. Get some sleep. We got into bed. He fell asleep within minutes. I lay there in the dark, listening to him breathe, and planned exactly how I was going to destroy him. December 20-3rd. 6:40-7 a.m. I woke to the sound of Marcus zipping his suitcase. He was already dressed, dark jeans, casual button minus down, the outfit he wore for relaxed business travel. His passport sat on the dresser next to his phone. Sorry, didn't mean to wake you. It's okay. What time's your flight? 9:15. Car's coming at 7:30. I sat up, watching him check his bag one more time. You have everything? Think so. He came over, kissed my forehead. I'll call you when I land. Should be around to your time. Be safe. Always am. He grabbed his suitcase, headed for the door, then paused. Sarah? Yeah? I love you. You know that, right? The lie came so easily to him. I know, I said. I love you too. He smiled and left. I listened to his footsteps on the stairs. The front door opening, his suitcase wheels on the walkway, the car door slamming. Then I got up and went to work. By 8 a.m., I had Diana on speaker while photographing every document in Marcus's office. He's gone. Heading to the airport now. His flight to Geneva is at 11:20. He'll need to be at International Terminal by 9:30 latest. That only gives him 2 hours between flights. He's not taking the New York flight. That was always fake. He books it, shows you the confirmation, then cancels it at the airport. Gets refunded to a card you don't have access to. I photographed the last page of his client files. Natalie. Picked her up 20 minutes ago. She's at a hotel downtown. Safe, cooperative, ready to testify. Did she bring everything? 18 months of messages. Emails. Photos of gifts he gave her, all purchased with your money, and the receipts for the apartment he set up. She's a good witness, Sarah. But good. What about the recording from last night? Perfect. Shows her calling you on his instruction. Shows you completely coherent and stable. Destroys any mental incompetence claim he tries to make. I closed the filing cabinet, returned everything to exactly how it had been. Susan ready? She's at the courthouse now. Papers are drawn up, just need your signature. Divorce petition, asset freeze, restraining order. The DA's office has the fraud case quayed. We're just waiting for the wire transfer to complete. 3 more days. 3 more days. Can you hold it together? I've held position on a burning set while a helicopter crashed 15 feet away. I can handle 3 days. That's what I like to hear. Call me if anything changes. I hung up and went to the kitchen. Made coffee. Sat at the table where Marcus had explained the mortgage refinance that was really a theft scheme. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Boarding now. Love you. See you in a few days. I typed back safe flight. Miss you already. Then I forwarded the message to Diana with a note. He's committed. No turning back now. Her reply came immediately. Good. Neither are we. December 20-4th. Christmas Eve. I spent it with my mother. We made cookies. Watched old movies. Avoided talking about Marcus's important business trip. At 8 p.m., my mother went to bed early, tradition from when I was a child. I sat in her living room, staring at the tree lights, when my burner phone buzzed. Natalie. He just called me. From Geneva. Wants to video chat. What do I do? I called her immediately. Answer it. Act normal. Happy to hear from him. Ask about the conference. What if he can tell I'm lying? You've been lying about the pregnancy timeline for months. You can lie about this. Okay. I heard her tap the screen. Heard Marcus's voice come through, tinny and distant. Hey beautiful. Miss you. Miss you too. How's New York? I beat. New York? The conference. How's it going? Oh, right. It's fine. Client's being difficult, but we're working through it. When do you think you'll be back? Probably the 20-7th. Might be the 20-8th. Depends how negotiations go. Natalie's voice stayed steady. Okay. I'll be here. Baby and I will be waiting. How are you feeling? Any issues? Just tired. Normal pregnancy stuff. You're taking care of yourself? Of course. Good. Listen, I have to run. Client dinner. But I wanted to hear your voice. I love you. Another beat. Shorter this time. Love you too. Talk tomorrow. The call ended. Natalie came back on the line with me. He's not in New York. No. He's in Geneva. Probably at the hotel. He lied. Even when he doesn't have to. That's what he does. I recorded it. Send it to Diana. More evidence. Sarah? What happens after? After the money transfers. After you file for divorce. After all of this explodes. You survive. You raise your baby. You rebuild. Do you think he'll hate me? For testifying? I think he'll hate both of us. But his hatred won't matter because he'll be too busy trying to stay out of prison. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Natalie. December 20-5th. Christmas morning. My mother made ham. We exchanged gifts. Over dinner, she finally asked, "What's really going on?" I told her. Not everything, but enough. When I finished, her face had gone pale. I'm sorry about the ring. Your mother's ring. Don't apologize. You didn't do this. She poured wine. When does it happen? Tomorrow. Money transfers at 3 p.m. Susan files at 4. Police by 5. And then I figure out who I am without him. At midnight, we watched the clock turn to December 20-6th. My mother raised her glass. To new beginnings. To justice, I sighed. December 20-6th. To 40-7 p.m. Susan Parrish's office. Diana on speaker. I watched the clock. Transfer processing now. 8 minutes. Susan had divorce papers spread across her desk. The moment it clears, I file. He'll be served within an hour. Where is he? Still in Geneva. Hotel records confirm it. To 50-3. My phone buzzed. Marcus, hey babe. Conference wrapping up. Should be home tomorrow. Can't wait to see you. I showed Susan. She smiled coldly. Don't respond yet. 7 more minutes. To 50-8. To 50-9. Transfer complete. The money's in Switzerland. Susan picked up her phone. File everything. Now. 3 p.m. exactly. Marcus texted, did the mortgage money come through? I typed yes. 400,000. Like you said. Perfect. When exactly will I see that money? Three dots. Reappeared. We can talk when I get home. I'd like to review it too. Since it's our money. Longer pause. Of course. We'll sit down and go through everything. I looked at Susan. She nodded. Actually, we won't. Because I know where the money went. Marcus. I know about Geneva. Natalie. The conservatorship. Everything. Send. 30 seconds. Then my phone rang. I answered on speaker. Sarah. Whatever you think. I don't think anything. I know. Bank records. Mails. Recordings. Testimony. You're confused. Not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. You stole from me. Lied to me. Tried to have me declared incompetent. And now you're in Geneva with $400,000 of my money. Our money. Susan leaned toward the phone. Chen, this is Susan Parrish, Mrs. Chen's attorney. You're being served with divorce papers, emergency asset freeze, and restraining order. The San Francisco DA has been notified of multiple financial crimes. I'd suggest you retain counsel immediately. I heard a knock on his end. Marcus, wait. What is this? 11 years, I said quietly. I gave you 11 years. My career, my money, my trust. And you were planning to erase me. Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out? I love you. No, you don't. You never did. I hung up. Diana's voice through the speaker. Westbridge just sent termination notice. Geneva police coordinating extradition. How long until he's back? 40-8 to 70-2 hours. He's not getting that money. And he's not staying free. My phone rang again. Marcus. I silenced it. Susan gathered papers. This will be a media circus by tomorrow. Go home. What about Natalie? Safe. Her testimony is recorded. She's cooperating fully. I stood. Is it over? The first part. The legal battle will take months. But yes, he's finished. I drove home through Christmas traffic. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Marcus calling. Texting, leaving voicemails I'd never hear. At 8 p.m., it finally stopped. One last message: you destroyed me. I typed back, no. You destroyed yourself. I just made sure everyone knew. Then I blocked his number. Diana texted. Check the news. Westbridge financial executive arrested in international fraud scheme. The story was already viral. Marcus's photo. Details about stolen money. My phone rang. Reporters. I turned it off. Sat in silence. And for the first time in 11 years, I felt free. 3 weeks later, January 15th. The preliminary hearing was short. Marcus appeared via video from Swiss detention. His lawyer argued for bail. The judge denied it. Natalie testified. Clear, devastating. Afterward, Susan walked me to my car. DA's offering a plea deal. 7 years, full restitution, permanent ban from financial services. Will he take it? His lawyer says no. Thinks he can win at trial. Can he? Not with what we have. But it means trial. 6 months minimum. Public. Ugly. I looked back at the courthouse. Good. Let it be public. Let everyone know. February 14th. Natalie had her baby. She sent a photo. Her name is Grace. Thank you for everything. I texted back, she's beautiful. You're going to be a great mom. June 20th. Marcus's lawyer called. New plea 12 years. Full restitution, cooperation with federal investigators. Take it. I told Susan. You're sure? I'm sure. Plea accepted. Marcus Chen pleaded guilty to wire fraud, theft, forgery, conspiracy. Sentencing 12 years federal prison. $840-3,000 restitution. I wasn't in the courtroom. Didn't need to be. My mother called that night. How do you feel? But free? Yes. December 20-2nd 1 year later. I stood in a production office in Vancouver, reviewing stunt sequences. My phone rang. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Sarah Chen? This is David Hoffman, attorney for Marcus Chen. My client has filed an appeal. I hung up, blocked the number, went back to work. Behind me, a coordinator was setting up a wire rig for a building jump. The precision, the controlled chaos that looked dangerous, but was perfectly safe if you knew what you were doing. I smiled. Some falls you plan, some falls find you, and some falls, the really satisfying ones, you make sure someone else takes. I picked up my headset. Okay, people, let's run sequence 7. Marks at 3, 2, 1.